म्यूट पे आप। सर, यू आर ऑन म्यूट।
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the audience. And let us please welcome Ashish Agrawal and Krishna Saru. Ashish is the speaker and Krishna is the moderator today. They both are IRMAn graduates, and Ashish has done some wonderful work which he will share in these talks. So Krishna, I hand it over to you for the moderation of this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Ritesh. Ashish Agrawal is a good friend of mine, and both of us have had the opportunity to connect at IRMA. And I think even before, on a personal level, we hit it off when we were in the induction field work, right, where we have to spend about 7 days just before the whole set of the course starts. We have to go to a village and stay somewhere. So we were posted in nearby villages where we could probably 3-4 kilometers away, but we used to walk every evening and then have our interactions, and that's where probably we found our mutual love for sustainability in very few words. But post that, now Ashish has moved on, and accomplished something very substantial in his very short span after IRMA. So Ashish established this organization called PRM Mitra, which is a Gandhi Ashram based social enterprises which leverages solid waste management to empower rack picking communities. IRMAn Mitra itself has matured into a resilient, self-sustainable model of community-driven solid waste management. So after this journey, starting in 2014, end of 2014, 2015, when he passed out of IRMA, till 2021, he was pretty much there with IRMAn Mitra. And post that, he established Bridge for Change Foundation, championing mindful consumption as a pathway to harmonize our personal well-being with professional endeavors. So there is a very fine path to balance both, right? And Ashish has been traversing that path, and I've been lucky to keep meeting him on and off, right, at various endeavors, at various stages of his career, and see him walk the talk literally, and move to a more transformative journey, right? So that has been Ashish for me. And today's talk underscores the imperative of embracing mindful consumption in our rapidly evolving world. How do we promote individual well-being while fostering meaningful change within our communities? So how do we see ourselves a part of this whole change that we want to set? On that note, Ashish, welcome, right? And thank you for giving me this opportunity. So without no further delays, I'll ask you the first and probably the most important question that all of us get: why IRMA?
Thank you, Sarup. It was a lovely introduction. So why IRMA? For me, IRMA was a kind of obvious choice because after graduation, I joined Army Officers Training Academy in Chennai, but it didn't work out for me. So I came to Bangalore because at that point of time, my sister was living in Bangalore. So since defense was not an option for me and directly serving society was still a very important aspect of my personal journey. But since I didn't had any exposure of social sector, rural sector, so I thought let's first get good professional education around it before jumping into it. And that's where the whole idea of getting into IRMA came. So it was kind of planned and need of the hour for me.
Great. So, and yeah, I'm sure we did interact at IRMA on various aspects of citizen service delivery and solving problems and looking at rack pickers, and we did pitch in one of the competitions. But I think even at that time you were very clear. So post IRMA, you established IRMAn Mitra in Gandhi Ashram, right, Ahmedabad. And so tell us something about this social enterprise, how it all came about, right? And was the seed there before IRMA, or did IRMA sort of give you a little more fillip to this entire push?
So Paryavaran Mitra, as you shared, is a social enterprise based in Gandhi Ashram, and essentially using the model of, as we know, Amol. It's a cooperative of rack picking sisters, leveraging solid waste management as a tool to holistically empower them. So it started as a scrap shop model. We started opening scrap shops in different communities, but today it is a full-fledged organization providing end-to-end services as far as solid waste management is concerned, with 50 plus team members on ground. And journey to Paryavaran Mitra was quite interesting because uh, I will say it's journey to Paryavaran Mitra was nothing less than a destiny, because uh, I remember in first year we took part in competition hosted by IIHS in Bangalore, where the problem statement was to address one of the social problem of tier 2 city, and we proposed solid waste management using rack pickers as micro entrepreneurs. It was just another competition for us, but since we were the finalists, the judges linked us to Manav Sadhana. Manav Sadhana is an organization based in Gandhi Ashram, and they have been working in different slums for almost 40 years now. And they wanted to do something like this with the rack picking community, and they were looking for some professional inputs. That's where we got into the picture. So from first year till the end of mid of second year, we did a intense research for them. We even missed one of the milab during the research period. And we presented the finding because there was never an intention to start something of our own at that point of time. After college, we took our jobs, but there was a gap of 2 weeks before the joining. I joined PRLPS after IRMA. And in those 2 weeks, since I was a person who always wanted a balance in inner journey and professional growth, Gandhi Ashram environment was the one which stuck with me during our regular visits over there. So after IRMA, when there was a gap of 2 weeks, I went there and helped them prepare the actual financial proposal for this whole idea, that what can be done with these rack picking sisters in a self-sustainable manner. And then after presenting that financial proposal, we just went to our jobs. Then one fine day, out of nowhere, I think around November 2014, it was period of Diwali, and I happened to chat with Viren Bhai. Viren Bhai is the founder of Manav Sadhana, and I just asked him what is happening. Is there any new updates on the research which we have done? So he said that they have secured the funding and they are planning to start it. And at that point of time, I was in Bihar in GPRLPS. So I said, okay, let me come for a couple of weeks and help you start it. And those 2 weeks ended up as 7 years. So I never went back to Jivika. I still have to get relieving letter from them. And that's how this whole journey of Paryavaran Mitra unfolded from one scrap shop. Today it is around 10 shops across 7-8 communities in Ahmedabad. And the best part of this journey was Paryavaran Mitra was not even my idea. We had a group of 6 friends at IRMA, Dhruv, Korean, Swapnil, Sunandan, and Akshata. So they were together in this competition at IIHS, and I was the last team member who joined them. So it was essentially their idea. And then one thing led to another, and I took it up after college, and we could create something small but beautiful and impactful. So that is how this whole thing of Paryavaran Mitra unfolded after IRMA.
Thanks, Ashish. On still a little bit on Paryavaran Mitra. So could you also spend a little bit of time recounting maybe how the journeys of the rack pickers themselves changed, post
Yes.
this, right? I have met some of them personally when I have been there. So there has been a transformation, right? Would you also like to talk about it a bit? Yeah. And why that is important, right? Yeah.
Yes, 100%. So when we were doing the research, we realized that so many sisters are there who are going on road. In context of Ahmedabad, say 30,000 rack picking sisters are there who are going every day on road, traveling 8 to 10 kilometers, bending at least 1,000 times, and then they collect 15 to 20 kgs of. So 30,000 women collecting 20 kgs every day, almost 6 lakh kgs of waste is picked up every single day, even before we wake up. But once they sell this collection to Kawari shops, that's where the exploitation takes place. So what we realized from our research is that normally when a sister is coming up with 20 kgs, and if she should be getting 10 rupees per kg, that is 20 into 10, 200. Normally at a Kawari shop, because of the exploitation that is happening, because of the unawareness that is present in this market, the person who is there sitting, she he will be offering 17 kgs at the rate of 7 rupees, or if the person is very good and humble, at 17 kgs at the rate of 8 rupees. So essentially 17 into 7, 119, or 17 into 8, around 125, 130 rupees. So because of this unseen exploitation, the person who should be earning 200 ends up earning 130 rupees. So that is what we realize that is the game changer for us, because just by opening a scrap shop which is owned by these rack picking sisters, from day one she can travel a journey from 130 to 200, almost 35%, 50, 40% increase in income. And that's what we did as an organization. That is how we started. We started as a scrap shop in a couple of communities in Ahmedabad, and then we saw what difference it is making and what kind of resistance we are getting from the rest of the kabadi walas. But and we very soon realized that we have somehow hit the right spot. So we continued with that model for next 3 4 years, and then since we kind of matured in that model of scrap shops and the trading that happened, then we focused around bringing them into the mainstream of waste management, that so that they don't have to go on road and collect it. They should be coming properly, wear uniforms, have I-card, and go to the homes and collect segregated waste, so that this whole idea of unorganized setup can be formalized into mainstream waste management. So that was the journey in next 3 years. First 4 years we were scrap shops in different communities, and then after the partnership of Ahmedabad Cantonment Board and UNDP, the second part of the journey started, where we started offering end-to-end solution around household level of waste, solid waste.
Now we move from Paryavaran Mitra and a little towards where did this idea of mindful consumption start? Because I think this itself would have been a big endeavor in itself, the whole Paryavaran Mitra and the amount of time that was going into that, right? But where did this idea of mindful consumption come in, and how did it lead to bridge for change as it is right today?
Somewhere during this journey, although this journey was very meaningful, very satisfying, a lot of love and respect was there, a lot of satisfaction was there, but somewhere the larger question was still unanswered, that we recently celebrated say 75 years of independence, but still the kind of shift, the kind of change that we have envisioned as this sector, as an organization, as a nation, I personally feel that we are missing something wrong is there in the process. So the idea was to try to understand what is the missing piece, if at all there is some. And second aspect that became very intense during Gandhi Ashram was the misalignment that I was discussing before, that I could see a huge shift, huge misalignment in what we share and the way we act. For example, I could see many change makers, many anchors of NGOs who are super rich, and their own journey is not related with the journey of NGO, and that is where it is kind of just a goodwill work they are doing. So what I realized, that it is not giving a good inspiration to the youth, and that's where any NGO you will talk about today, biggest problem will be human resource, because we are expected to serve the society, but the environment is not conducive. So that misalignment between our thoughts, words, and action is what I felt is big bottleneck. And why that is happening? In order to understand that, this whole Yatra thing came into picture in 2021, where we interacted with the stakeholders from 95 institutions across 7, 8 countries, working in 8 different domains, just to understand their understanding of the impact of their work, where are we missing, and if we are missing, and how we can address it. So those around 3,000 hours of interaction boiled down to the fact that some improvements needs to be there at process level, at systems level, and any system we consider in our discussion, we are the basic building block. And therefore, unless we are at peace with our journey, unless we are the kind of ideal version of ourselves or the better version of ourselves, the larger system will not be improving. And mindful consumption evolved as a tool to bring that shift. So we have started working around how we can present this whole idea in an engaging manner with youth.
Ashish, and how is waste management related to mindful consumption? There is some link there,
Yes.
right? So
Waste management is of course directly linked, because uh, lots of innovation and talk and hard work is being done on the reactive side of waste management, but of course mindful consumption will take care on the proactive side. So that is very, very clear. It is just that since it is a shift in behavior and our lifestyle, it takes some effort and pain, and that is where we are focusing at the moment, not from the aim of waste management, but it is definitely be improved if at all the larger portion, larger fraction of our society takes up mindful living as a part of their lifestyle.
yeah. So what is this mindful consumption all about? Would you like to take us through that in a little more detail at this point?
So during these discussions, what we realize that anything that we are doing for the sake of love and appreciation from the society, because everybody wants some kind of certification, some kind of acknowledgement from our near and dear ones, our peer group. And we all want to get this admiration and appreciation through hard work and honesty. But when we see around us that people with larger materialistic prosperity are the one who are best celebrated, who are most celebrated, and how that prosperity has been achieved is not a matter of discussion. We have learned in college 3 Ps: profit, planet, and people. In order to maximize profit, even if somebody is abusing planet and people, it is not much discussed. So the success is only related with finance. Not much weightage is given to character, not much weightage is given to the impact of the person. So, and that is why today, whether I am doing BCom, engineering, medical, after graduation, the intention is single point agenda to maximize my materialistic well-being in minimum period of time. So that is what was directly or indirectly surfacing in all our discussions, or at all kind of people, whether at IS level of person, whether at farmer level of person. So what is happening uh, is, suppose today Ashish is at X, Swaroop is at 5X, for example. So I am in my mindset, because so much of competition is there, I have to reach at 5X at any cost. I'm not considering my skills, I'm not considering my opportunities. So there are 2, 3 scenarios that is evolving. Suppose I work hard, I from X to 3X I reach after a certain period of time. But because of this scarcity mindset of the society, I will not be appreciated for that hard work. Rather, I will be felt inadequate and incapable, that your cousin is at 5X and you are still at 3X. So that incapability or inadequacy, that is pseudo, but still I feel it every day. That stress that discontent, that friction inside in my inner journey leads to a lot of uh, what we say is mindless consumption in different ways. Whether it is this frustration is coming out on food, or on fashion, or shopping, or on our relationship, or I end up doing a job which I'm not satisfied with. So where is clear cut manifestation, negative manifestation of the stress or the discontentment or the friction that I feel because of this peer pressure that is omnipresent and round the clock. In second scenario, even if I am working from X to 5X and I reach 5X, so only by reaching 5X will not help. I have to maintain that kind of lifestyle, big car, big house, XYZ. And again, that can be manifested only when we are having some kind of lifestyle, better parties, better vacation, better X, better Y. So in both the cases, what we realize is because of the unseen, invisible peer pressure, we are getting into a lot of consumption pattern, which are not the need but the want. And in our case, people like at our level, they are not also want; they are the indirectly pressurized acts that we have to commit. And therefore, from the social point of view, you will see that today we are not at all talking about any social issues clearly, very openly on social media or discussing, because there is so much of fear over there, how it will be taken up, my goodwill will be impacted, maybe some political party might react to it. So we have stopped asking questions because of the insecurity that is present in us round the clock. And it is all mixed up. Means something clear is very difficult to come, but from our hypothesis was we have to bring more change, bigger change. What we realize, for bigger change, we need more people, but more people are not on ground because they are struggling in their own journey. Why they are struggling? Because of this flawed reward system, this flawed success definition of success. And why that is happening? Because we are into an endless spiral of consuming things. So what we realize, that unless that basic decluttering is not done, there is very unlikely scenario that larger pool of resources, larger pool of young educated skilled labor will come in this sector in coming future. So it is a long shot that we are taking. Aim is to improve our society, make it more equitable and just. But for that, we need hands, and hands are not there. Why they are not there? Because they are somehow struggling in their own lifestyle. So that is how we are looking at this whole game. That once we are at peace in our own journey, once we are enjoying our own journey, every human being is a compassionate animal. We don't have to convince anybody to serve. Serving can be done in different ways. Nobody has to join an NGO to do it. But that connect is missing at the moment. So we are just trying to take a longer route, deeper route, and bottom up approach. You can say that any system, we are the basic building block, and somewhere our values are a little bit diluting. Somewhere we are a little bit more stressed in our work or whatever you call it, lifestyle. So that decluttering is required before we can pay attention to some of the larger challenges as well. And more importantly, in this whole game, in this whole rush, we are not at best, means we are struggling physically, we are struggling mentally, we are struggling on relationship side. So lots of issues you will see happening around us in our friends and families. So definitely this lifestyle is not working, that is for sure. So how we can address it? So decluttering is what we are offering as one of the starting point. So this is how we are looking at it. It's a bit complex, a bit abstract, but uh, good research is backed by it, but it is little difficult to understand in one go.
Maybe you can explain your journey with decluttering, right? You ended up just having a set of 33 items and then living with those for now 1,000 plus days, right? That's where you are.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So can you talk about it?
So as I shared, means I saw that there's a massive difference between what we are preaching and what we are practicing. And I believe that be the change is the most difficult aspect of it. And therefore, once when I started this whole idea of mindful consumption, I was very sure that I have to try to at least live in those shoes. So this is an initiative called Project 333. It's a global initiative where the lady who started it, she invites participants to live with 33 personal items period of 3 months. So I just like this experiment and I started it, but soon I realized that it can be a long-lasting lifestyle shift, and that is what happened. So I have been living with 33 personal items for almost 3 years now, and it is very very helpful. A lot of decluttering on the fashion side and the what to take, what not to take is taken care, and that is the reason why I'm more confident that decluttering can be very very powerful tool. It gives us time to pause, reflect, and if there is a need, we can regulate. This whole process of pausing, reflecting, and regulating, we don't have that time today, most of us.
So now you've broadly said what the intention behind Bridge for Change is, and you've spoken about mindful consumption and your own efforts at decluttering, and also the sort of negative impact it's broadly causing on the environment as a whole. So from that point of view, you have embarked on a journey of mindful consumption, and how are you planning to accomplish this vision, right?
Yes. So we are. So should we take questions now or later?
Yeah, I think maybe because it's very close to what you have said right now. Examples of those 33 items for decluttering. Please go ahead. Yeah.
So 33 items are my personal items, what I am wearing, what kind of stationery means laptop, couple of mobiles, shoes, etc. So not the bigger things like bed and sofa and kitchen utensils, not like that. Whatever I am traveling, if I'm going for say 1 month, what all things I will have. So that is the 33 items. And that will not be changing seasonally or after 2 weeks or after 1 month. That is fixed 33 items for last 3 years. So say I have four kurtas, so I have to manage with four kurtas, irrespective of how many meetings or how big is the tour. So that way, if I have two shoes, so two shoes it is. It's not like for meeting it is different one, and for sports it is different one. So whatever is your need, it's not like there's a fixed items, but your pickup of 50 things or 33 things, and you have to stick by it. So that is the idea.
Suresh sir, does that address your question?
Exact, I can send WhatsApp later. Means my list of 33 items.
Right. Yeah, I'll keep a tab on that. But back to you, Ashish. So you can talk about how you are planning to accomplish this vision, what you've already started, and what you intend to do and build up in the long run, right?
So our aim is to engage with youth at UG level, because what we realize that there we will get 3 years or 4 years of time to engage with them. At college level, they have some freedom from parent side to take some decisions, experiment with their lifestyle if they're going in the right direction, and they have 3 4 years of time before they will jump into the market. So we intend to engage with these youth at college level by establishing center for self-discovery, because these kind of shifts that we are talking about are behavior change. It won't be happening if somebody is coming, giving a session and just going. So similar activities should be done on a regular basis for tangible period of time. So these centers will enable us to have multiple activities on the larger theme of mindful living. And we believe that if it is done properly, at least 10%, 15% of the students who are in the campus will be benefited around it. And since all these will be activity based, there will be nothing called as expertise or those kind of aspect. Anybody and everybody can take this up, means any faculty can be trained around it and they can take it up. So that is the idea, where once it is nicely piloted in a couple of institutions, it can be rolled out on the larger scale once those modules are perfectly right and it is being done. So that is the plan of action, that in coming years, maybe say the way we are looking at it, we are planning to open at least 50 centers in by 2030 in a university of size 4,000, 5,000 students. So it will be just another center, because today in any good academic institution, lots of center of excellence is there who are enhancing our professional skills. But these kind of spaces are missing, which will be broadening our horizon. For example, at IRMA also, uh, I could not recall that we discussed with why GDP is a good parameter or a flawed parameter. So just for the sake of discussion, just for broadening our horizon, some space needs to be there, which so that person, when he or she is getting into the market, they can take a informed call that on what journey I want to go and why.
Since that you have already started these sessions, right, and interacting with students across various cities and different types of universities, right? Engineering colleges. You've also gone to
Yes.
B schools. You've also gone to probably art schools. How has the response been so far?
The response is very encouraging, because everybody can feel that something is not right. I mean, something needs to be improved. Like we must be hearing lots of suicides are happening in premier institutions. So something is not right. It is just a matter of pausing and reflecting and actually acting on it. Means again, lots of counseling is happening, but it is on the reactive side. Why at an academic institution there is a need for a counselor, that needs to be addressed, and somehow we are trying to address that part, that why the lifestyle has become so stressful at a student level that somebody is thinking of even committing suicide. It's I from our perspective, it's a big failure. So that is where we are trying to pitch in, and the response has been very positive, because it is directly linked with the larger mission of life, Ministry of Environment mission, lifestyle for environment, and it is also directly linked with the larger goals of SDGs 3, 12, and 13. So if bringing these all things together, it is a good product for an academic institution. It is just that it is a little before time. So uh, getting investment might be a difficult thing, but overall response is very good. So far, we have engaged with 1,500 plus participants, like students, faculties, and development professionals across 25 plus institutions. Uh, IMA, IMB, your organization, UNICEF, IRMA is of course there. So the experience has been good. XIM, Ahmedabad University. So overall, we know that we are going in the right direction. It is just a matter of bringing the pieces properly and presenting it.
Interesting, you said a little ahead of time, probably, right? And why do you still say so? Because
Yes.
what we are reading generally is that if you specifically about Gen Z, right, that people are lost, they are more lonely than ever, they don't know how to figure out a solution for this, they are an ever-ending loop. Even people like us, right, probably who have hopped onto this bandwagon, as you're saying, under peer pressure, tremendous pressure to do things. Also, when I was also having a conversation with someone today, just the fact that education and industry are being used in the same, it's the same phrase, education industry or a health industry. And when we look at our ancient system, right, education is not an industry. Education is more a, it's a service. You never pay for education, you never pay for health, and you never pay for, right, and also food. All three are danas, right? And from that, yeah, so in a way, so, and I mean, I don't think it's ahead of the time. It's sort of ahead of the times, but why do you think so? Is it purely from a being able to raise funds perspective, or also maybe if you were thinking 10% might be ready for this, you're only saying maybe 5% ready for this?
Yes, yes. Of course, from the resource point of view, I'm saying it is before time, because uh, today, whatever any initiative, any activity which does not create some kind of wealth is not appreciated. So it is an activity which will not be added directly to the resume, and therefore academic institutions are not ready to invest in it. Although they acknowledge the situation, they acknowledge that it can be beneficial, but so it will take its own journey. But yes, need is definitely there, and we'll see how we can put the things together.
Sure, Ashish. And Yeah, so this is the response from different stakeholders. And yeah, I'll also have to tell everyone else present here that we've also had Ashish come to my organization, where we had a sort of uh, 25, 30 young people, right, who had just joined from various colleges, engineering colleges, planning colleges, and even otherwise, go through this journey of understanding our own lifestyle, right? Just for an example, what is our carbon footprint on a daily basis? That the choices we make, what does our carbon footprint look like? Because we talk about carbon footprint all the time, but are we aware of what at a personal level we are doing, right? And also that some of the choices that we make, like how many times do we order from Zomato or Swiggy on a weekly basis, right? And how much plastic packaging that brings in, versus do we have the opportunity to maybe walk or use a cycle or maybe our vehicle to go and get it, but it will still reduce the plastic packaging or go and eat there. So what sort of small differences we could make in our day-to-day activities to visualize this change, and then what sort of impact it has on us at a personal level, right? So now that I see less clutter, I'm using less plastic, for example, just less waste, I'm more mindful of it. And then also similar way, I cut down non-essential travel wherever necessary. I only take public transport, even if it means maybe 15-20 minutes more of commute, but with the understanding that I'm contributing positively to the society in general. So these are some of the examples that we got to see, and at a personal level, what could change. But then, do you think that also being an IRMAn made you better placed to venture into mindful living as a mission? Do you see that IRMANs have any inherent advantage in uh, pursuing this approach versus say a non-IRMAN, right?
This definitely means because we have studied at ITMA, we got exposure of best of both worlds. So we are better placed to take an informed decision direction to proceed. So that is definitely an edge we have, which exposure which we receive because of ITMA. Mhm.
Great, Ashish. So again, so maybe getting to the last few questions here, and I'll also open it up for the participants to get in a few more. So I also see that at the root cause of when we talk about mindful consumption, and consumption in some ways also related to accumulation, right? And you've talked about it. So there is a system in place today which rewards probably accumulation, right? And wealth accumulation, or people like stocking up stuff. So in such a sort of scenario, right? And so this is accumulation on the one hand, and the rich are becoming richer. So the gaps are increasing, the wealthier are becoming more wealthier, poorer, the poorer are becoming even more poorer. So, and is this something that you are perceiving through your interactions? Do you have a pulse on how your students are probably seeing this shift, and do they feel for it? Is there an inherent or innate understanding of why this is not right anymore, and they can't be part of such a movement and the need for change?
This definitely means at college level, we can see that there's enormous increase in the fee structure everywhere. So even if somebody wants to experiment, they don't have bandwidth. In our college also, I think it is around 15 lakhs. After 15 lakhs of loan, no, we cannot expect them to work at a non-profit. Means, so that system is somehow, the environment is also not very conducive to experiment or to imbibe such kind of lifestyle in the initial phase of career. Definitely at our level we can make a call because we have achieved fair bit of success or prosperity what we think of achieving, but initially it is quite difficult, that is for sure. But at the same time, awareness is also there, opportunity is also there. So depending on the upbringing, depending on lots of factors, person can make a choice, but environment is definitely not getting conducive around it.
Thanks, Ashish. So I'll just wait for a few questions from the participants now, right? And before, there are a couple of more like the run-of-the-mill questions that I have to ask you, but I'll wait for participants if they have any more questions.
Yes.
Can I go? Can I go next with my question?
Sure, sir.
Hey, hi, Krishna and Ashish. Thanks for the session. So maybe there are two or three things. Maybe I'll just start with my first question, right? Like if you see Ashish with this mindful consumption, right? Like try and minimize what we consume, or try and control the impulsive purchases, right? Like one area that I predominantly see is stationery, right? At home there will be like tons of pens, right? Because buying that is such an easy, accessible, and impulsive thing. Okay, so what my doubt is, like, you have seen, like, must have seen or experienced multiple people where you are training, and so is there something that you think that drives a certain person to take up this kind of a behavior, right? Because if I look at myself, maybe this thought came to me and I forcibly try to cut down on certain things, but that doesn't happen easily with some of the people around me, right? So and also these kind of things, forcing on somebody, you can just tell, but you can't just try and force these things to change people. Is there something that you find that innately some people tend towards this thing, whereas some people don't tend to? Is there some observation of yours?
Yeah, of course, as you rightly said, the environment is not very supportive of such kind of lifestyle. Although I may be wrong in saying that. Everything is there in the market, but the celebration and appreciation for the uh, modern lifestyle is more as compared to this kind of, say, you can say, orthodox or outdated lifestyle. But there is definitely a lot more appetite and intention in younger generation to imbibe these things. It is just that somehow I feel they're not presented this idea in a very supportive manner or very easy manner. Normally, if somebody is talking about mindful consumption or mindfulness or meditation, we always feel कि, oh, we will be asked to become a sadhu, we will be asked to become a sant. But it is much, much easier than that. And we can achieve that in a step by step manner. We don't have to bring a drastic shift on day one. So I think that piece is somehow missing. We were planning to do a small activity, but we can do it later individually. That activity is based around this whole idea only, how we can bring small shift in our lifestyle that will create massive ripples in our journey.
Got it. Thank you. Yeah. Maybe I can go with another one. This is there some kind of a material or a theory or something that you must have come across? Because this minimalism kinds of cuts down a lot of consumption, right? Like that also, at the other end. Okay, if just a very wild, like maybe far-sighted thought, if everybody in this world starts consuming only 33 goods every year, like what will happen to the entire industries? Like how would, like, is there, I'm not able to fathom like the other end of of what it could lead to, right? So there could be some justification for
Yes,
sure.
yes.
Yeah.
See, again, I don't have much knowledge about it, but I don't feel that I was sharing in the call also that GDP is the right way to measure countries' progress. It is, and you and I both know that a couple of big people are improving their bank balance massively, and it is growing the whole GDP on a positive side. So that is another game. But we have designed some tools to showcase this fact that why GDP is not the best parameter to judge a society's progress or what will happen to employability. Because if everybody is consuming less, production will be less. If production will be less, employability will be less. So what will happen to employability if everybody starts becoming minimalist? So those kind of questions that can come out of this, the larger discussion of mindful consumption, we are making small tools around all these answers, where data will showcase that nothing much will change, even if everybody is living a more fulfilling, mindful life. Because as I shared, even if I am using 33 items, I still have a home, I still have a sofa, I still have a kitchen. So overall market is not getting hampered massively. It is just that in spite of buying 15 t-shirts, I might buy just 2 t-shirts in a year. So that is the only difference, small difference that will bring in the economic side of it.
Yeah, eventually, I think there could be something that will emerge, right? So today,
Yes,
because the
yes.
thinking is in producing more denims because people are buying more denims. Maybe there could be something that might come up. But yeah, as you explore this, if there is, because I'm sure there would be some book or something that would have already thought through this as a concept. So I couldn't really
Mhm.
find something. So if you come across something, please do share. Yeah, thanks.
Bilkul. think Swaroop got disconnected. Anyone have any question, can share in the chat box. Ritesh, sir, how much time we have?
We have 10 more minutes.
I'll keep waiting for questions, but I think if there is a broader question on also probably taking it out from Ritesh sir's this thing. So how can the IAA be helpful in this whole journey of mindful consumption? How can the Alumni Association and
So idea is to create a movement, develop a movement around it. Because again, mindful living should not be an initiative. It should not be just another project. It should be a part of, I think, everybody's lifestyle. So in order to create movement, we will need a lot of support and encouragement from different stakeholders. So as far as IIA is concerned, I think 3,000 plus alumni are there. Or at least similar kind of sessions can be organized in their organizations. It can be done free of cost. It can be, that is not an issue. But idea is to spread awareness at least to 1 million people in next 10 years, so that at least some discussion is happening, some dialogue is happening around it. And the way we are trying to put it across, I'm sure it will be much easier to grasp and appreciate the massive resourcefulness of such a beautiful tool. Because we don't have to compromise our lifestyle, we don't have to compromise our peace in order to become mindful from day one. And still that small shift will have massive impact on our personal journey and larger social challenges. So once that is presented in a conducive manner, I think the takers will be a lot more.
Malika ji has a question. Go ahead, Malika.
Thanks. No, really, more than a question, it is that I really enjoyed it. I've been a minimalist for, I don't know, donkey's years. And I didn't even know there was a movement like this where you could join and you have 33 items and so on. So it's really interesting. I loved what Ashish said, and it's happening with a plan, which is great. So I just wanted to appreciate Krishna, your interviewing him, and basically what I've said. I loved what I heard, thoroughly enjoyed it. And if I could answer Ram in that sense, in fact, if you are a minimalist, you have so much peace of mind. You're off pressures. It's not that you'll have pressures if you're a minimalist. And if you buy only 2 t-shirts or whatever, yes, the economy will suffer. But the thing is, what is happening is who's earning the profits? Everybody is trying to sell you something or the other. And the profits is going into the pockets of a few really rich people. And this whole, issue about you're happy only if you consume 10 pizzas in a month, and you buy 2 t-shirts a month. So that gets challenged. It is, if I consume less and I have peace in that, and somebody else sees how peaceful that is and they do the same thing.
Yeah.
So yes, production will go down. Mother Earth will not be raped the way she is. So that is the benefit. In fact, why do you need to have so much production in the world? Where is the need for everybody to work and work their bones off, that they're waiting for retirement and then they're waiting to do things? They can just work at a slower pace, be happier, instead of, this is what crony capitalism is, what is causing all this. So I think that I don't know whether this is the point from which you operate, Ashish, but this is the way I look at things. So yeah, that is what I wanted to share.
Thank you for that, Malika ma'am. So definitely insightful. I mean, definitely, I see it that way, right? That why do we need to produce so much if we start consuming less? Definitely, I'm part of that journey, and also I'm part of a not-for-profit organization which is looking at nature-based solutions, and how we can basically make everything simpler and let communities manage things in a way and do nothing more than what's necessary, right? From a very limited point of view. And I think at IRMA also, I'm sure, because I've posed this question to Ashish as well, that we have through our praxis, right, and also on the various subjects that we have gone through, we have come up with approaches on how can communities be sustainable. We have talked about cooperatives and how we could look at looking local ways of production and sticking to them, and not getting into this whole wealth moving out of our particular territory, but keeping everything as local as possible and only reaching out if we are in need of something, right? And keeping everything as small and simple, and enjoying the smaller pleasures of life, right? So definitely, I think IRMA has had a lot to offer in that journey at a personal level. But again, Ashish, so yeah, over to you. Yeah.
Group, you can share that link of the
Yeah.
activity. They can do it later. It's a Google form where we are using a carbon footprint as a tool to showcase our message, what we discussed. So whenever you have time, you can just fill it, and then you will get a report around it. I think that will beautifully summarize how we are approaching this whole idea, and it will be lovely to get your feedback on that. Since we have limited time, so we skip that activity in this call.
Yeah, I posted that link, Ashish. Yes, and I've taken that link up myself. So once you do that, you will also get a report based on the questionnaire, the questions that you've filled, in terms of what sort of impact that has on the overall environment. So it's an interesting tool.
Yes.
And which brings me to probably one last question. Any memorable anecdote or story, Ashish, from your journey that you want to leave us with?
So I will share the journey how Paryavaran Mitra started. Means it's a very interesting story around funding. So I shared the name of Viren Joshi. He was founder of Manav Sadhana. So during Diwali, he got a call from one person from Tashadia Foundation. So at that point of time, based on our proposal, we were looking for $40,000 to start our first center. And one of the charities have given us $16,000. So we were still looking for 24 more. So that person from the foundation called Viren Bhai, and he said that we have gone through your proposal and we liked it, and we want to support you. So Viren Bhai said, okay, very nice. It's a auspicious occasion of Diwali that you are calling and giving us this good news. But the person on the other side, he said that we need $24,000 and we won't be giving you $24,000. Viren Bhai said, okay, fine, whatever you are giving, it's a blessing, and remaining we will try to find it from somebody. The other person said that you don't even want to know how much we are giving you. So I said, okay, tell us. So the person said, we are giving you $100,000. And that's how Paryavaran Mitra started. Means we thought of starting with one scrap shop, but because of this support, we started with 2 centers and a good amount was left. And that is how we always say in ashram that when intentions are good and hard work is put in, universe will align. Although it is difficult to see that sometimes, but I'm still holding on to that thought at the moment in last 3 years, because universe is not helping much.
Thanks, Ashish. So on from my side, that will be the last question. So before I hand it over to Nitesh sir, I would also thank all the participants for tuning in. I see that whoever have joined sort of have stayed the course and have also posted questions. And thank you for keeping the comments box also active. So thank you very much for tuning in and hearing us out. Ritesh sir, over to you.
Thank you, Ashish, and thank you, Krishna. Uh, Today's topic personally also resonates to me when Malika shared about her experience. Particularly till high school, I was in Ramakrishna Mission, and we followed the principle of or the norm of three. So we were given three t-shirts, three shorts, one for the boarding, the hostel, and another for the school. The logic was one you wear, one you keep at reserve, and one is for washing. And we were not allowed to have more than three pair of clothes. That habit itself, still I stick to it, especially during travels or when I come to India and meet friends. I always carry three and a pair of jeans. I fully agree that having less stuff keeps, I like clean things and you have a lot to worry about. And one of the practical good implication is my movement, because I moved from India to New Zealand within a notice of 2 weeks. Then from there to India back, then London and there. Like when I moved from London to Luxembourg, I had 8 boxes, me and my wife. Uh, and most of them, like even the utensils we have, very small, not much. So adds very much flexibility to your life. And as Ashish shared, there is, that not kind of pressure. I should have three mobiles, phone, the latest laptop, etc. So I fully agree on that, and it personally resonates to me. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, Ashish, Krishna for moderating, and the audience for sharing their questions and ideas. I hope it will be useful to some of us, and I will post this recording on our YouTube channel, and the audience will missed today's wonderful talk can have access to it. And if they have any other further queries or they want to know more, Ashish, I hope you are fine with them contacting you. That's all for today. Thank you very much.